What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 6. So we're starting today's stuff on the back of our loss to Watford at Vicarage Road with a scouting update and an academy update as we've entered November. So far, our youth scouts haven't exactly been earning their bread. Yeah, not really too big of a fan of the players we picked up so far. I mean, a couple of them could be alright as the months go by, but the reality is I actually released a couple of youth players here. You'll know me if you've been watching me for a while now. I'm very selective with my youth players, and the reason being is very simple. You get a high volume of players coming back to you based on the scout experience rating. So for those that aren't aware, there are two ratings for a scout, experience and judgment, and they're rated in stars from 1 being the lowest to 5 being the highest. So a scout with a high experience rating, let's say 5, for example, 5 stars like we've got here, they will pick up a larger quantity of players per scouting report. So you'll get more players given to you per report per month. And as for the judgment, the higher the judgment stat, then the better quality of youth players you're more likely to get on average. Though of course it is random. Though I say random, it can change basically. But the likelihood is if you have a 5-star judgment scout, you're going to pick up a higher quality of youth player. But so far, no one too special coming through the youth system so far. I'm hopeful we'll get a few by the end of this season, but I just have to say, I feel like youth scouting this year just has been harder. I don't know whether it's me, I don't know whether it is just me, but I have found that finding quality youth players is a little bit trickier than it used to be. But I guess for realism, that's probably a good thing. It's hardly like you can get a golden generation of youth players season after season. Anyway, first game of today's episode on the back and loss to Watford. Right now, mid-table, taking on Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. And start the season off, this is exactly where I thought would be right now, as you take the lead here 35 minutes in for the Chelsea loanee Armando Broja, just his second goal of this season, but we'll take it. This is where I thought we'd be right now, mid-table. We've had a couple of surprising results so far. The loss at Vicarage Road in that last game, the goalless draw at the Etihad, but for the most part, it's been a very realistic start to the season. Exactly what we wanted. I didn't want us to be in second place to start the season off, man. I wanted it to be quite realistic, and so far it has been. And taking on Aston Villa for the first game of 4 in today's episode, first of the 3 in November. We would take the lead through Broja, but Aston Villa would level it soon afterwards. And Philippe Coutinho, man, what a revelation he has been since coming in with Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa. He's been tremendous. And, I was reading recently that if he's going to make this stay a permanent one, then he needs to cut his massive his salary at Barcelona, which I was reading is over £400,000, and I believe Aston Villa are paying around a quarter of that, so probably just over 100 grand a week. And I can't imagine that Aston Villa would blow up their wage structure for Philippe Coutinho now, coming towards the twilight of his career. As good as he has been, it's a lot to pay, 400 odd grand a week. So there's been talks that if he is going to make this stay a permanent one, he needs to significantly reduce his current contract wage and wage demands. I mean, look, I sympathise with footballers a lot. I think they get a lot of bad press. I really do. And until you're in this situation, you can't know for sure exactly what you do. But I can't even imagine earning, 100 grand a year, let alone 100 grand a week. But I think Philippe Coutinho would be alright if he went down to about 100, 120 grand a week. Even with the cost of living increasing and the inflation being very scary, I can't see Philippe Coutinho resorting to shopping at Aldi, in Birmingham, to be honest, if he goes down to 100 grand a week. I hope he does it, man. I really do. I mean, playing under Steven Gerrard, former teammate, it's been a really cool timeline, let's be honest. And also, let's give Steven Gerrard the credit he deserves, by the way, for coming in to Aston Villa from the Rangers job. What a tremendous job he's done so far at Villa Park. But yeah, I really hope Coutinho does take that massive pay cut because, like I said, unless you're in that situation or until you're in that situation, you can't know for sure exactly what you do. But, I mean, 400 grand a week is just stupid. It's just a crazy amount of money to earn. But so is 100 grand a week. And again, I hate to be that guy. I really do. I'm not one of those, soldiers deserve footballers' wages, all that nonsense. But I do feel as though you'd still be alright on 100 grand a week, you know. So I really hope Coutinho does it and chooses to play time and where he's loved, like he is right now at Villa Park, over the current contract he's got at Barcelona. Anyway, lost the game by 2-1. It was a brace for Coutinho. So great to see him thriving back in the Premier League under former teammate Gerrard. And following back-to-back defeats, he would travel away from Carrow Road for the second game of today's episode and really needed to go back to winning ways. I talk about form in career mode and how OP it is. You cannot afford to have several games in a row where you're underperforming. So Norwich away, Carrow Road, newly promoted. We know once again this season have struggled mightily on the back of their, let's be honest here, heartbreaking loss at Ellen Road on the weekend for Jesse Marsh's first victory as Leeds United manager. You know, there's a very strong chance they're going down again. In the save, they're just above the relegation zone. I thought heading into the game, I've got to win this one. I've got to make sure I return to winning ways here. And we had a perfect first half as well. Adam Armstrong scored his first of the season. What a goal it was as well. And then James Ward-Prowse, the skipper, scored his first of the season. And what a goal it was. I've talked about how team goals in FIFA are actually like really hard to score because of the way the game is played. But when you do pull it off, it looks fantastic. Brilliant build-up, and Joe Aribo with 2 assists in the first half here as we went 2-0 up on the Canaries. They had one chance in the second half. Good save by Sam Johnston, kept it 2-0. No, really, I should have been home and dry around the hour mark. I had some great chances in this game to extend the lead, just wasn't taking them. Angus Gunn, the former Southampton goalkeeper, making a good save there, keeping it at 2-0. But to be honest, despite the one chance the Canaries had, I'd been in control for the first whistle, really. Out of 18 minutes to go, as Tino Livramento skips around Brandon Williams, rolls through Ritsu Doan, and what a start to the season for Doan. That is goal number 4, or possibly goal number 5. Thinking about it, I think it's his 4th or 5th goal of the season. He has been tremendous since coming in from PSV Eindhoven. We spent the big bucks on him, £20.5 million, but I have to say, at the moment, worth every single penny. Our Japanese winger with our 3rd goal of the game there, wrapping it up in style in a definitely deserved victory away at Carrow Road as well. So yeah, back to winning ways there, and great to get another clean sheet as well. And it really is bizarre because if you're watching me throughout FIFA 22, you'll know my Achilles heel has been defense. I've been absolutely atrocious on defense. I can see goals here, there, and everywhere. I'm leaking like a bad plumbing system. I'm really all over the place defensively this year. But in this season, I don't want to jinx things, so I'll have to touch wood here and cross my fingers. I got to say, I've been pretty solid at the back for the most part. So, following game, Liverpool away at Anfield, taking on Jurgen Klopp's side here. Aiming to make it back-to-back games without a defeat, but of course can be really tricky against one of the best teams in the world. 24 minutes in, Sam Johnston called into action, and I knew this was going to be a really long afternoon. You know, when you're a visiting team away at one of the biggest teams in the country, you know you're set for a long afternoon. Your goalkeeper's going to have his work cut out for him all throughout the course of the hour and a half, and this game was no exception. Mo Salah scored their opening goal of the game around half an hour in. What a goal it was, bending past Sam Johnston. For Salah as well, you know, we talked about him a couple of episodes ago. Just a tremendous footballer. His goal to game ratio since joining Liverpool has been phenomenal. It's his consistency, I think, that's been most impressive at Liverpool. And of course, as we know, you know, so many rumours that he'll be leaving the club, so much speculation. I was reading this morning that Barcelona are now the front runners for Mo Salah. Of course, there are other major European teams that are currently taking close note of his current contract situation at Liverpool. You know, there's been talks stalling over the contract extension, primarily based on money from what I've read, but Salah's done a lot with Liverpool. You know, Premier League, Champions League. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if his time at Anfield does come to an end sooner rather than later, and he looks for a new challenge, possibly in La Liga. But whatever happens with Mo Salah, you know, as he scored the brace in that game there in a 2-0 loss, I think as a Premier League neutral, you know, I don't have a horse in this race. I don't have a stake in this. For the Premier League, like in the recent years, he's been one of my absolute all-time favourite players to watch, man. He just is such a brilliant player. And I think the Liverpool fans would agree with me when they say here, he's been one of their best offensive players. Well, in certainly recent history, no doubt about that. He's been a tremendous joy to watch. And whatever happens with Salah, it would be sad to see him leave the Premier League, of course, don't get me wrong. But whatever happens, you've got to be grateful for what he's done for his time at Liverpool. And again, as a neutral, to have watched him play on top of his game consistently for years, it really has been wonderful to watch. So yeah, the mystery of what happens with Mo Salah, I'm sure will unfold over the coming months. But even so, if it is one of his final seasons, if his final season at Liverpool, what a great job he's done there at Anfield. field, and it's been great as a football neutral to watch him on top of his game for so many years. So following the defeat there, as you can see, 3 defeats in 4 as we slip down the table slightly entering the month of December. As you can see, 3 games in November, and quite a few more in December. As we know, December is one of, if not the busiest month of the football calendar year. There's that old saying, nothing's ever won and lost in December. Well, energy is definitely lost in December. I mean, there's so many games to play, as we know. Lots of big games coming this month, and some big boys as well. So this is going to be a really tough month for us, and really after 3 defeats in 4, I got to try and find some consistency as well, because at the moment, okay, we're several points off the drop zone. We're not in major trouble at the moment, but as I often talk about it, in FIFA career mode, form is so OP. All it takes is a little bad run of form, and out of nowhere, you've gone from comfortably mid-table to in the bottom 3. So for our first game of December and our final game today, Leicester at St Mary's taking on Brendan Rodgers' side, I definitely would have taken a point pre-game. There was very little going on in this one though, and in stoppage time, in a really poor game, Ricardo Pereira pulls down Armando Broja, had a chance with the final kick of the game to win it from the spot. 12 yards, James Ward-Prowse, captain, fantastic, sends Kasper Schmeichel the wrong way, gives the day in the eyes, and wins it with the final kick of the game. I gotta be honest, man, I'm so bad at penalties. I thought I was gonna blaze that into Rosed, but instead JWP does keep his composure, deliver us the 3 points, and we do get our second win in 3. So it's been an interesting run of form. 3 defeats in 5, yeah, not great, but then 2 wins in 3 is pretty decent, especially at home to Leicester being one of those games as well. But it's been an inconsistent start to the season, but really exactly what I was hoping for and what I was looking for as well. It's been a challenge, it's been tough, just what I was looking for, but most importantly, 14 games through to the season, about a third of the way done. We're in 12th place, we've won as many games as we've lost, and we've only drawn 1 fewer as well. It's been inconsistent, but it's been realistic, and that's the key. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic CM, guys. Big thank you for watching. Enjoyed it. If you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.